in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs's residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs's electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contained images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well that we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SCNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SCNY who are handling this case. Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleiter and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I'm deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Eric Katursky, ABC.
Thanks, Damian, thanks. The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you. Julia Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
What's the difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
One more coercive than the other?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points, but we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? And additionally, could he face any more charges?
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime with him. Next question.
Juliet Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residences, and did he have locations where he kept them, and were not allowed to leave? And also, he's indicted here, although there were searches and raids in LA, Miami. Why in New York?
Well, I'm biased. I'm the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York. I think that we have an outstanding track record of bringing some of the most impactful, sprawling, complex, difficult sex trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, you name it. The Southern District of New York can do it, and so we're very proud of that. And so the scope and complexity of this investigation isn't something that we ran from. It's something that we embrace, and we will continue to do that. As to your question about whether he imprisoned anyone, all I can say is that, I mentioned this March 2016 incident where something was caught on video where a victim was attempting to flee, and there was violence that was associated with it.
Was that at the residence or a hotel?
That was at a hotel.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press.
Thanks a lot. Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning for seeking pretrial detention. I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
John Anise, New York Daily News.
Thank you. I was hoping to get some more detail about the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found amongst his residence? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place? I kind of wanted to just get a better picture of how that stuff was found.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the AR-15s, 2 of the 3 DeFace AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts along with magazines with ammunition loaded in them. So some of that detail is in the detention letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able to get into where other items were stored.
Ben Kochman, Post.
Hey, thanks for doing this. Your office was the office that had been prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein before he died in custody. I have not read your detention memo yet. It's the first thing I'm going to do after this ends. But does the memo address, or is your office concerned with Combs's safety in custody, given what happened with Epstein?
So we are concerned with anyone's safety whenever they are detained prior to trial. It's part of our obligations to keep people safe as well. It's part of the criminal justice system. So But I do not draw any sort of connection between Jeffrey Epstein's suicide and what may or may not happen to any other defendant while they are detained pretrial. And of course, the decision whether to detain the defendant will be up to a judge. Our position is that pretrial detention is warranted under the law and based on the facts of this case. And I'll leave it at that.
Are some of the prosecutors on this case some of the same prosecutors that had been handling that or that worked on the Maxwell case?
So I'm not going to get into the staffing. I will say that this team, this group of AUSAs, this incredible group has been working on this case around the clock, and they've had their hands full. Next question.
Gus Rosendale, NBC News.
Good morning, sir. Combs' attorney said that his client has been cooperative with investigators. He said that this morning. I was wondering if you would have a reaction to that.
Let me just say this. I think that generally with increasing frequency, the word cooperative or cooperating has taken on tremendous elasticity and no longer really bears any relation to what the word means when we use it in a very specific context. So responding to lawful process and the like does not qualify as cooperation when we use that term here.
Mike Sisak, AP.
Thanks. To that end, was there any discussion of Mr. Combs surrendering? I understand he was taken into custody at a hotel in Manhattan last night, and maybe that wasn't the plan. Can you elaborate on how that came about and why that was?
I'm not going to be able to get into any sort of operational details as to how he was taken into custody and when. He is in custody right now. He will be appearing in court later today.
Was there any discussion of him surrendering, given they claim he's cooperating?
I'm not going to be able to get into law enforcement tactics or operations. Well, I can't get into the charging decision. It is very meaningful to us that weapons were possessed, as we allege in the indictment. Part of the reason why this conduct was so pervasive and harmful was because victims and others didn't necessarily feel comfortable denying him his wishes, as we allege, because of the presence of firearms. I should leave it there.
Thanks. Last question, Jacob Shamison.
Jacob Shamsian, Business Insider. Thank you. Given that he's the sole defendant in this case and that you allege he's part of a conspiracy that involves members of his companies, do you anticipate a superseding indictment that bring allegations against other members of his companies or other co-conspirators as well?
I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing. And I think a lot of you who cover this office know that when we say such things, that developments are certainly foreseeable, but I cannot predict them sitting here today. All right, thank you, everyone.
What part of this business empire is exposed?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Wow. So there you have it. I mean, this was very, hold on. Let me see what else is saying. This was very, it sounded like, well, first of all, they had a special task force. That's serious when they dedicate a task force for your investigation. It sounded, is that you, Perry? Hold on. Okay, special task force. Looks like they've been investigating this for a while. Feels like other people are going to get arrested. It is the Jeffrey Epstein case 10 times worse. It's 10 times worse because I have a feeling on top of all of this. So they're getting him right now on X trafficking. But I have a feeling that they also have investigated these other cases, specifically Kim Porter. He said the investigation is ongoing. It's not over. Yeah, when he said that, I took that to mean, yeah, it's not over because you are investigating the real serious crimes. These are serious too. And I feel like it started back in the day with Diddy. Let me take this off. I don't look good, but I can't stand talking under Avatar.
Well, Sherelle, you coming back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hit the wrong button. I don't know how to take it off. Anyway, it sounds like this all started back in the day, back in the 90s, when he was hanging out with Aaron Hall and they were going around SAing women. I think that he did have something to do with the Tupac thing and Diddy. And I feel like the more he got away with these crimes, the worse he got. So today they said that he would get delivered boxes and boxes of lubricants. Like these parties were well thought out and prepared, flying people in, lots of drugs. So unnecessary. Prostitutes, hookers, getting people, slipping things in people's drinks. He was so out of fucking control that it had to end this way. He was not going to stop. He's unaliving people. He's beating people up. He has from 93 all the way up till about 05. When he would get arrested for something, he's paying people off. He sends Shine to prison for 10 years for something you know that you did. It's just unbelievable. If you would have told me that all of this was going on at the time that it was going on, I wouldn't have believed you because he had money and he hid it very, very well. He would go in there with these hotels, rent floors, okay? What kind of party is this? And then cleaning them up at the end because you have destroyed them. SEX going on in every room. You bringing people against their will. Like that's what you need to go to jail for the rest of your life, just on that alone. Slipping stuff in people's drinks. Then I wake up and I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
He's out of control. I remember a couple days ago, I would say Wednesday of last week, Gene Deal came out and said that Diddy's going to get arrested in September and then he's going to unalive himself. He's going to unalive himself. I think he's going to unalive himself.
That's possible too. Like if he had time, I don't see him staying behind bars alive. Because I just think that his lifestyle would be such a drastic change. And then the sickness he got, it's almost like being addicted to drugs or something like that.
What explain the sickness? What do you mean by the sickness? Like this is uncontrollable. What do you mean by that? Is it uncontrollable?
Like instead of a mad scientist, right? He's like a mad sexual deviant. Like his whole thing is like all the money and the power and stuff he got. These are the things that keep him breathing. These are the things that he wants. He like to be in control, have all the power. That's why he get the hookers and.
But Perry, he's already in control. You're P. Diddy.
Well,
mogul.
Okay, that's not good enough. He like to be physically in control. Like I get what I want when I want it. You understand what I'm saying? Or no?
Like that clip that's going around. So he just wanted to. I'm confused because I don't think like that. So he just.
Okay.
He likes R-ing people. What are you talking about? He gets
okay, it's a different with like running an organization where you're the boss, you're the CEO, and you have the power to fire and let people go. You take it to a different level. Sometimes that's enough power for people to be a manager, supervisor. But some people get so sick, they got to have mental and physical control over a person. That's why I think he do the things he do, because it allows him to dominate, do what he want to do. To people. Because you can't just walk up on somebody on the street and just make them do it 9 times out of 10. But so he used all these methods, these parties, the drugs, stuff like that. I'm thinking, or people who just need money. Like he'll bring in the girls, the hookers, and whoever else, because they'll do anything for money, and then he'll do anything for the freak off. And it seemed like it's getting worse and worse with him.
It did.
Like now you can't just have sex with him and do this. Now you want to beat him, drag him. Basically, he wanted to become a slave master in a sense, like just total dominance over people. And he's really sick.
He's really sick. I'm glad all this is happening. And throughout this whole thing, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, justice for Kim Porter, his baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
He did that. He did that shit. He did the Biggie. He did Tupac. And probably other people we don't know about. This man needs to never see the light of day again. And I don't think he will. That's why I think when he's in behind them bars, like Aaron Hernandez, like Jeffrey Epstein, all those people that have been doing wrong, and you thought you were getting away with it for all these years, when it's just you in that cell behind them bars and your freedom is taken away, then they can't handle it.
Right.
I predict him unaliving himself. Now he want mercy. Now he want people to feel sorry for him. Where you didn't feel sorry for Kim Porter.
Most criminals.
You didn't feel bad for Tupac, who was, I believe, 24 or 26 at the time. Can you imagine? Because you got some jealous nut job over here that don't want to see you grow. Tupac was already a superstar. He probably would have been, and he's an icon. There's no telling what would have happened if he was still here, but you got some jealous maniac, and there's no way in hell, I'm sorry, I gotta say it. I usually do not come for people's mothers, but she knew her son was sick a long time ago. She knew shit was going on when they was putting everything in her name instead of his name. And he thought he was smart, putting everything in her name. He really actually thought he will never get caught. He reminds me of Ted Bundy. There's this serial killer from the 70s, how he thought he was so smart and he thought he can outsmart everybody. But wrong is wrong. And I don't care if your name is Diddy, Sherelle, Perry, Jeffrey Epstein. When you do wrong, it always comes to light. It might be a long time. I mean, this maniac has been roaming around for 30 years. 30 years he's been getting away with this stuff.
Yeah.
And how do you put your hands on a woman, have her under surveillance the whole time she's with you? I'm talking about Kim Porter. Let her birth your children. Make sure she doesn't see anybody else. And that's why the guy that Kim tried to date that came up unalived, Shakir, I think his name was Shakir Stewart or Stewart Shakir. Hey, they need to investigate that too.
Right. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
This is just.
I mean, but you asked, like, how can a person do that? To a woman? It's a person that don't have respect for women and the human race. Just don't have a moral compass, right? And he's so far out there. However he was raised or whatever, he think that he's this special God. He think that he's got all this power, right? And you mentioned names like Tupac, Kim. These are people that we looking at that we knew of. When you people taking control over every day, like the local servant that come to your party that don't do what you say to do, or don't get his order right when you come, or don't perform right. How many of those people do you think could have went missing?
Well, yeah, Perry, you're right.
Right? Because if you do it on this high level, if you would take out some big celebrity or whatnot, or your lady, that when people can suspect you doing it, why wouldn't you do it to other people that nobody would ever even think about that you did it? I mean, he's on this power struggle. That's why he's walking the beach, arrogant, because he's so used to having people in his pocket. But this time, you know, like people, like when people, you know, like burn that bridge and just do it over and over, they never know when it's gonna stop. I don't want to say burn bridge or whatever, but um, it's just like the drug dealer on the corner. He can make millions and don't even need to do it no more. It's the thrill of it all, the power of it all. One more trip, one more trip. Diddy has taken that last trip. When the guy was doing that press conference showing these weapons with serial numbers marked off, magazines.
What was that about?
Well, so you can't trace it.
No, no, no. Why were these guns in his possession? Why did he need?
Think about it. To hold up people, to force people. Look, to straight up rob. Like when you running like a drug enterprise, you need protection. When you, I mean, look, you looking at Diddy as this one of these people. I'm starting to see a little different. He wasn't just a producer of music. He's producing street money. And people would call it the freak offs. We don't know how much people was paying to show up to these parties. He was a pimp on wheels.
I can't, Perry, stop. Let's talk about Stevie J for a minute.
Okay.
Stevie J is a music producer that produced a lot of Biggie Smalls hits, or not Biggie Smalls, what they call them now, Notorious, a lot of Biggs hits, right? And he used to be maybe engaged to the rapper Eve. He had a lot of women. He had just like Diddy. Of course, Stevie J is known for being an addict. Remember him and Jocelyn? They were. And then later on in life, he got on the TV show, what is it called? Love and Hip Hop? I think that's the name of it. He got on the show Love and Hip Hop. Stevie J has had rumors for years about him being on the down low. So he always debunked these rumors. And he also was at the Miami home. So he's been good friends with Diddy for years. He was at the Miami home when the raids went down because he used to use Diddy's in-house studio. He has stood by Diddy. He walked by Diddy's side every time Diddy has made these recent public appearances, when he went to Harlem, when he was walking on the beach, when they went to the ice cream shop. He makes it no secret that Diddy is his boy. Okay.
Is his boy, or like, he's a male version of any woman that Diddy's been with.
Well, so you're trying to say you feel like these two had
he's no different than what's the little girl that left last? The little rapper. It was two female rappers. One went with
Carisha, Young Miami.
Okay, Carisha, right? He's just a male Carisha. Now, people don't look at it that way. When Diddy pull up with Carisha, oh yeah, he hitting that. Well, it's the same thing.
Right. Hold on, Perry. I want to be serious for a minute. Okay. It's no doubt in my mind that Stevie J is going down with Diddy. If he had any sense, he would be on a plane right now on his way to Bali. But so they all think that they can run to Bali because of Russell Simmons, but they can't run to Bali. The only reason Bali is protecting Russell Simmons allegedly is because he's paying off the government. So if you're going to run to Bali, you better have some money. Stevie J, you're known for not having any money. Maybe Diddy will hook you up. I don't know.
That's what I think too. Go ahead.
I feel, go ahead, Pierre. I'm sorry. I'm over talking you again.
You know, I'm just thinking this with the Bali thing though, right? Now, I know countries have no extradition laws and stuff like that. There's ways around it. Now, when we look at the Russell Simmons thing, he didn't do, well, no, I'm not saying if he was accused of R, it's not that bad. It's not on that big of a level. Some kind of way, United States, if Diddy was to go there, I'm sure we'd be able to get him back.
Oh, Diddy?
I don't really think there's no way he can really run.
Now, we know Diddy's father was a gangster that hung around drug kingpin. What's his name? Oh my God, I'm forgetting.
You did a whole story on it. I remember.
I did. His father was a gangster that hung around a famous gangster. I cannot remember. Frank Lucas. Well, he hung around Lucas. According to Frank Lucas, when Diddy, before he became famous, when he was at the college, Howard University, he started coming over a lot to Frank and asking him a lot of questions. Frank thinks at the time he was trying to figure out how to run his empire. And he got the blueprint allegedly from Frank Luca. I think that just because your father's a gangster, you don't have to be a gangster. His father was long gone. His father passed away at the age of 3. Now they're saying his mother was a hooker. I don't know if she's a hooker, but she certainly dresses like one. What kind of environment was going on at his house? If the rumors are true and his mom was a hooker and his dad was a kingpin, he still didn't have to turn out this way. I feel like when way back in the day, when he was hanging with Aaron Hall and they started R-ing women and videotaping it, this is when the illness began because he got away with it.
Right.
And after that, it was no stopping him. All the way up to 2024, he had no consequence to his actions. What were we going to say, Perry? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that can go both ways. Like, if that was the case, as far as his father being the hustler, I can see how somebody can admire that, because it's like, I know.
Oh.
I know what you're saying. I'm not saying it's a good thing to admire, but it's like a tough manhood, street cred. He got this. And then I can see how he don't respect women. If it's true, you seeing people walk in your mama's room. Okay. Her come out, oh baby, whatever. Like, you know, he don't put values on women that way. Like he's numb, like, well, it's a man's world and Diddy's world and his world. And sometimes when you make so much money, just being a man wasn't enough for him. He wanted the experiment.
Hold on. Sandra said Janice Combs is probably back in the hospital. How old is his mom? I'll look that up. And then you said something else, Cassandra. Oh, you said all roads leads to Clive Davis. Now, supposedly Clive Davis was involved in this mess. Like, okay, I don't care how down low I am. Clive Davis is not attractive. I can't.
Well, okay.
I can't.
He may not be attractive. It's a lot of rich men.
Right.
That's not attractive, but they get it. Diddy gonna perform for the cash for Clyde.
Ciao.
I'm with this old man. I'm gonna go ahead and do this and get this money because it's all about the thing, you know. And maybe Clyde tricked him out to where he liked it too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
No, I think he was on the down low before Clive. I think he could have been on the down low probably back in the 90s because he was so, it was something he just didn't want to get out there. That's why he unalived Kim. But I think this went back. I think more men are going to come forward saying, yeah, I was with Diddy. We already know that some of the hookers said that they definitely were with Diddy. So what kind of lifestyle was this man leading? Because, okay, freak off parties, maybe once or twice, but this sounds weekly. I want to know how often these freak offs were. And what is the reason?
It's like okay, it's like asking about a crackhead. What's a crack party to him? It's the world. It's like everybody's invited to your thing, and you got all this freakery going on. When you a freak like that, you enjoy it. He need the freak off. A normal going to work 9 to 5 won't work. It's like a crackhead need crack. He need the freakness and the power and the control to be dominant over other people.
So listen, there's a lot going on. So I just hopped on here so we could hear the press conference to know exactly what's going on. Hold on, let me see something really quick before I get off. I'm going to be doing deep dives Okay, hold on. I'm heading over to TMZ right now. Hold on.
Yeah, but
And
Sherelle, go ahead.
I think there's going to be updates all day. I'll try to give you guys a warning, but if I feel like it's something really breaking news, I'm just going to go live and hope everyone catches the replay. I wanted to read the latest off of TMZ because they're very accurate and they're on top of this, and they also broke the story. It says the feds do not want Diddy to be allowed out on bail. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams says his office believes he is a flight risk. He most definitely is a flight risk, and I predict no bail. That's just me. And is also a danger to society as he's allegedly resorted to violence against multiple victims. Prosecutors point to the fact Diddy, if convicted, is facing a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years and a statutory maximum sentence of life in prison. Yeah, he's going to unalive himself as motive enough for him to potentially flee. Williams broke down the indictment during Tuesday's press conference, sharing a photo of the AR-15s the feds say, the feds say were seized during the raids at Diddy's home in Beverly Hills in Miami. So they had those for a while. He says the GUNs were found in Diddy's bedroom closet in Miami. Diddy, the only defendant charged in the indictment. I feel like more are coming. But Williams says the investigation is ongoing and they are looking into all the people in Diddy's orbit for possible criminal charges. Stevie, you better run. Williams says Diddy did not act alone. I'm telling you, he needed a lot of help to set up the freak off parties. The feds say Diddy recorded the freak offs. They found the tapes. They found the tapes, y'all. I'm sorry. The feds say Diddy recorded the freak offs and they seized the footage in the raids. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. I'm just hearing this all for the first time, too. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York will hold a press conference, which we just seen, to prove more details on the massive indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. And TMZ will live stream the presser. Oh, they must have live streamed it. Damian Williams will speak about the indictment, which includes allegations of racketeering, trafficking, kidnapping, prostitution, narcotics offenses. It says kidnapping again, arson, bribery, and obstructive of justice. Ooh. Ooh. Hold on. I had to press that read more button. And this is him. They've got him. Is that the kid, King?
Kristen.
Or yeah, King. Is that Christian?
Yeah,
Williams is also expected to address the freak off parties that are mentioned predominantly in the indictment. Diddy's family will be supporting him in the courtroom. We saw his sons, Christian and Justin, earlier on Tuesday outside the federal building as they waited for his case to be called. The indictment includes allegations Diddy lured women into his orbit under the pretense of a romantic relationship and then used force and threats of force to pressure them into engaging in X acts with male commercial X workers. Although the indictment does not mention Cassie by name, it's clear she's part of the case. The indictment refers to the 2016 incident where Diddy brutalized her in the LA hotel. And that's the tape that we saw. That's it? Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Listen, I predict this. I predict his son Quincy, who has been talking to his biological father, Albie Shore, I don't see Quincy supporting him after all of these allegations. Now we know he's been torn, he's been depressed, fighting depression, trying to hold on to the family that he knew. He's very involved with all his sisters and brothers, especially the twins. But I think that when he hears testimony and he realized that his dad was telling the truth, and he realized that the only man I know as a father has unalived my mother, he's not going to be down with that.
Wow. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Oh, somebody said, it says, Sherelle, Quincy, Justin, and King was there this morning. That's what they're saying in this TMZ article, that they were there. Also, I'm thinking that probably the children, the girls, the two twins, are with Kimora Lee Simmons, because she said publicly, I vow to always take care of of the twins for my friend Kim. So remember, it was Kimora Lee, Kim Porter, and Tyra Banks were all best friends for years, over 30 years. My heart goes out to his children, because Perry, what do you do? What do you do? Let's just say you're not even Quincy, because that's too hard to try to even dissect. Let's say you're Christian and Justin, and you're Justin, and you know you're involved. You know you bought the drugs. You know you found the hookers. What do you do if you're Christian?
What you mean? What do he do as far
What
as?
do you do now? Do you keep supporting your father? Do you
Of course, you keep supporting the guy that you was with while he was doing it, and then you act like, oh no, he was just set up because he a black guy. You know, he got a bad rap, and they just go on and then make sure they try to secure a lot of their money so they can keep living. But I'm saying it's nothing else for them to do. Turn themselves in, go against their father and say, hey, yeah.
Will Justin be a part of the indictments? They just got Diddy.
That's possible. But I'm just saying, but he ain't gonna be a part of it on his own. He ain't gonna just say, yeah, I did it. He could be a part of it. I thought you meant
So let me ask you this. You're Misa Hilton, Diddy's first victim, first baby mama. And you seen this going on, but when it got so bad, because he put his hands on you too, Misa. When it got so bad, when Justin got arrested with that DUI, and you realized that he is a spitting image of his father, and you let this man ruin your child, she's got to be feeling low.
Yeah, and probably at this point, just like Diddy, she probably can no longer control her child, like Diddy mama couldn't control him. So yeah, she can weep and all that. Her son gonna be that bad boy for life. He ain't going back to be mama's boy
And
again.
even worse, Perry, Justin Combs can end up in prison, because
Right.
we know that he was a part of it. We know that for a fact.
Well, you see all those weapons and stuff. It's a lot of people, and it's a lot of things on tape. It's probably a lot of people involved. It's more than a one-man operation.
Yeah.
All this racketeering and all that stuff. It's more people involved. So they possibly going down too.
All right, let me get out of here. I'm going to collect more stories, find out more things that's going on. I don't want to bombard you with Diddy stuff, but this is a case like no other. This is going to be the case of the century. Forget the OJ stuff. This is the new 2024. Right. And so I'll try to do other stories, but right now I got to find out who else is a potential suspect and who's a potential participant.
Yeah.
More people are going to jail. That's what I think. And I say this, and I don't mean it in any bad way. God knows my heart. I don't want this to happen, but Diddy getting ready to unalive himself. This is too much for one person. Anyway, y'all. Perry, any last words? Then let's get out of here.
This is way bigger than the Cosby case. Cosby case had a lot of accusers, but now that Diddy is behind bars, may be released. I doubt if they gonna let him go. But it's gonna be more people now that feel safer to talk with him behind bars. It's gonna get
There you
worse.
go.
I don't see Diddy getting out of it.
Yeah.
I always
All right.
said yes, but I said if they indict him, I think that's it. Now, before the indictment, maybe he could pay people off, whatever, but it's gone too far. He ain't getting away with it.
All right, guys, we'll be seeing you all day. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.